problem, they'll move out of here. My biggest concern is the next census coming up in 2 years. If we lose 700 more people in this town, we are a second-class city. We lost 800 last time, 700 more, the mayor knows this. We're a second-class city. We'll cut all of our turnbacks and everything else. I'm gonna suggest, and I've talked to Brad, we're gonna be lucky, that we sit down and try to find a solution to this. If the chairman of the Water Commission will allow their engineer to work with me, I'll work with him in good faith and come back here for a reasonable proposal to solve this problem. If not, we've got problems. Long-term problems. No water, no jobs. That's the way it is. I can't say anything else. And then with that, Mayor, I was nice.
I appreciate that.
You told me not to say anything ugly tonight.
I did.
Thanks.
Tommy,
Yeah.
would this be addressing the Shoreline Street problem and everything all in one action?
I don't have an idea. I don't know what their financials are. I just know that Stevens told me that in their current financial situation with their debt load, we're not gonna get a federal grant. We're not gonna get another bond issue. We're gonna get nothing for 30 years. And I don't know what we're gonna do if we go down that route. If I get them, I got some federal money. We're gonna pass the infrastructure bill in Congress. The president proposed it today. But we gotta be able to show we can fund our 20%. And if we can't show that, even if it's police cars, and we have to have financials, you gotta be able to show you can provide your part of a grant. I think the best thing for us to do is let me and Brad work together and come back to the council in maybe a month. Brad, is that okay if you?
Sure.
He is. We're gonna meet Monday morning. Let us sit down and figure out what we need to do. Get some positive numbers, how we get out of this. My thinking is, let's do a short-term plan, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. This didn't happen overnight. It's happened over the last 50 or 60 years. But that's all I can do. I mean, Gene's fault, I'm here, he conned me into working on the jail deal, and you only have to spend 10% of your time, and I spend 85 or 95% of my time working on that. But I'm willing to do whatever the council wants to do, because I work for you, I don't work for the water commission. I mean, I'll do my best, give you 110%. But we got to have a realistic plan. If we go to a second class city, I stayed up all night Sunday night worried about this. We lost our turnback funds in the big city. We're gonna be at a top plan. I told y'all earlier. 20, 30 years now, if it wasn't for the interstate, we'd already be top plan. So that's all I can say. Brad, I don't wanna make you mad with that. But you're gonna work in the park of it.
One thing I'd like to elaborate on before have Bob and them continue their discussion about this and go back to the city council. I had probably a 30 or 40-minute meeting with Bob Jones and Freddie Anderson. We sat down and discussed on this right here. Right now, Bob's hands are tied. He's going to be sending the figures to his corporate people. They are the ones that's going to have to make this decision. And right now, it's no need for us to keep bugging them, because all he can do is send the figures to his people. Like he said, once they respond back, then they can call for a meeting with everybody that's going to be involved in this right here to tell us what they can do, or if they can do anything. But right now, for us to keep making trips over to see Bob Jones is a useless situation right now. And I left it with them on this aspect right here, that send the figures, they will tell us when they want to sit down with us and talk.
Now, Mayor, I want to interrupt you here a bit. I've already talked to Bob Jones Thursday in the meeting. Basically, what you said is true, but they said if I will get Shep Russell Friday first to draw a contract and give them hard numbers, they'll give us a 10-day reply on what they can do. And I appreciate what you did, but I've already met with him before you met with him.
Did you meet with him today?
I met with him Thursday.
I met with him this
Oh,
morning.
that's fine. What I'm saying is, we've got to deal in good faith with them. They're not happy with us.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Tommy, right now, he wants to leave it just like I mentioned it, that they want to tell us when to come back and sit down with them. They know the figures. He's already had their engineers. They come in with the
They got
same
one of them
figures that
Tennessee
Robin
engineers.
submitted. It's gonna be almost $5 million, that's what Bob told me.
And I got them to agree to up the amount they will pay, but here's the problem. If they don't get out of the water treatment business, they're gone. I can tell you right now. That's the biggest payroll in this city, unlike our other ag businesses. They're not exempt from sales tax. We don't figure that in. They have to pay sales tax on everything they buy, where John Deere, Case, and everybody else doesn't. When you couple their payroll with their sales tax, we're making a big mistake if we get rid of them. This town's gonna go down.
We're not saying we're gonna get rid of them.
Well, they're gonna get rid of you whether we get rid of them or not. I mean, I've dealt with the Spanish people. They're pirates, conquerors of the world. They're a bottom line people. They're honorable people. I've been over there in Madrid and dealt with them. But they're not gonna play games with us.
Well, what I'm saying, and Bob told me this himself, he said, I can't tell you anything else, I don't know until I send the figures to them, and then they got to respond back to me.
I can deal with them. I've dealt with them before. But they're not easy to deal with. They're not gonna play games with us. They have a plant in Wisconsin. They opened up in a city of 700 population. They're treating their water. We're the only plant in their whole system which we require them to treat their own water. They're not playing that game. I'm telling you it's over. Then I might as well quit because I'm not gonna be able to help you do anything, get jobs in here. It's that simple. Sorry about that, but that's the way it is.
Don't you look at any comment on it? I'm going with what Bob told me today. Now, Rob, I'll turn it over to you and your commission to.
Well, I've talked to Bob a few times, and I talked to Riley Bustle, who pretty much runs their wastewater facility today. I had a pretty long conversation with him, and he assures me that Riviana is the second largest rice producer in the world. And he assures me that the type of plant they have here, they're not going anywhere. They may not expand, but they're not going nowhere.
Bob basically told me the same thing today.
Jolly told me, he said the type of production they do is the only plant of Riviana that does that type. I forget what it was. Jolly told me about it. And he said they're the only ones, and it's kind of the backbone of their deal. And you know, if they have to continue to pre-treat their water like they're doing, aerate it and with their and land apply it, then that's what they'll do. They're not, you know, they want out of it, and if they can get out of the pre-treatment business, they got a better chance of adding another cooker, is what Jolly told me. And because they don't want to pre-treat the water, they want to just send their cooked water to us. And but once you do that, I mean, they somebody at the plant about 6 or 7 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, it was back in November. I'm sorry, it was back in November. Somebody opened up a valve they wasn't supposed to, and they were sending that cooked water to us, and it completely annihilated our brand new plant. I mean, it was dead. It was gone. I mean, and that was just about a quarter of their cooked water flow going through there. So if they'd opened up the whole thing on us, we'd probably still be trying to get our plant back. And the water was coming in, it looked like milk. And we went to manholes and traced it all the way back to Riviana. It's going to be an expensive process to do that for them. Brad's come up with a pretty close hard number, that's around at $4.5 million to do it. And somewhere ballpark $130,000 operation and maintenance. And the last number I was told was $200,000 a year that they want to pay us to do that on a $4.5 million loan. And I'm telling you, the payment on a $4.5 million loan for 30 years is probably going to be over $300,000 a year. So that's going to leave us $34,000 of money from them to pay off a $4.5 million loan in 30 years. Those numbers just don't got it. I mean, you can look at it all day long, but the hard reality is that this doesn't, if they don't come up with the money and we go and borrow this money, then the hard reality is you people up there are going to have to double, maybe even triple the water bills in the town to pay that money back. Stevens is not going to, I didn't interrupt you, Tommy, and let me talk. Stevens is not going to let us walk away from it, because there's a misconception out there that this is a revenue bond, and if we can't pay it back, we walk away from it. That's not true. The man from Stevens at our office told me, he said, you're gonna have to cover this. You're gonna have to raise the rates. So if you do this, like I said in the last meeting, you're putting the customers, the citizens of Brinkley on the hook to make an expansion for Riviana to create 15, 20 jobs. And you got people that live on a fixed income in this town, and if you double or triple their water bill, you know what that does to them. And they're not gonna be happy about it. So, and as far as doing the $1.5 million loan, that was what we're doing, that y'all gave us last September. You gave us the water rate increase to fix Charlene Street and do some other sewer line improvements. That's what that money's for. We've done, we fast tracked it through, actually went faster than most times. Brad doing the engineer work, and then he had to turn it over to the health department, get their approval and sign off of it, and then he had to get a cost estimate, and then we had to go through the financing. It takes time, and we didn't get our rate increase until November of last year. It was in effect. And so we've had the rate increase for 15 months. And normally on a project that size, it takes 2.5, sometimes 3 years. If you go with USDA, it's 3 years. And we fast tracked it through, got it done. The contractors and the bids have been done. Everything's ready to go. It's set to go. We just need, and we was told by CoBank that the Water Commission could do this, and then for some unknown reason, all of a sudden, it blew up on us. And y'all have to approve it. Y'all have to give the Water Commission the okay to do this. And I promise you, each and every one of you up here, I know each and every one of our water commissioners personally, and every one of them they don't make any money. They don't get paid a nickel. They do this because they care about the water system in the city, and they have the best interest of our water department, the day-to-day operations, and the citizens of those customers of this city at heart. I promise you, there's not a one of them that doesn't care. Not a one of them. And if you think they're in it for the glory or anything like that, you're wrong. They're doing it because they care. And it's just, that's where we're at in a nutshell. If we don't get this $1.5 million, Charlene Street's gonna be, probably by the end of summer, a lot of it's gonna be an open ditch with sewer water running through it. And you can go down through there and see where it's collapsed. The whole top of the sewer main, is that 8 inch or 10 inch? 10 inch is gone. The street's falling in on it, and it's just gonna be an open ditch with sewer water running down it. We don't have the money to do that. We've got the money to do it, to pay the loan back. I made a deal today. We put in, just for example, today, I put in powder permanganate, one of our biggest chemical expenses at the water plant. We've done the numbers on it. It's going to save us between $30,000 and $35,000 a year just on that one chemical. That's 4 or 5 of our payments right there on that loan. We paid off that other loan, which is $4,400 a month. The money's there. I mean, we can pay the loan back. It's no problem whatsoever. I can assure you that. Because I'm the type of person, I don't like owing people, and I do not want to get something that we can't pay back. I pay my own personal bills on time, and I try to do that for the water department too. And we went, Carl and I went to, and Brad went to the state capitol to a Senate and representative committee hearing on all this. I think Carl brought it up last week, and they discussed our problems over here, and maybe sometime down in the future we may have some money to do this, but it's not there now. So we've got to act. We've got problems. Main Street, we're going to do some pipe bursting on Main Street where that plate's in there. The sewer line's falling in over there, and these things aren't going to get better. Yes, Mr. King.
Rob, how come you didn't ask the city before you applied for this loan? How come you waited till you just ready to sign that to the city?
Well, we explained when we asked for the rate increase, Mr. King, what this was for, okay? And we was told by CoBank and our attorney, Mr. John Martin, he thought it was perfectly legal for the commission to obligate us to do that. And even the bankers at Coalbank did, the president, I mean, they said it was perfectly legal and fine. And then all of a sudden, I mean, we even went and opened up the account at Signature Bank, Bank of Brinkley, to put had the money. It was approved and done, and then all of a sudden, what happened, I can only speculate, but somebody in the USDA said, nope, you cannot do this, it's gonna have to be approved by the city council. By an ordinance, yes.
How long have we known about the sewer being bad like that? How many years? It just happened overnight, or has it been falling in and
Well,
falling in and falling in?
Larry, about 3 years ago, on the south end of Charlene, across that field, it would go behind, it completely collapsed in holes were coming up in that field. And we replaced all the bulbs across there, and it's just eventually getting worse. And then just finally, we just said, hey, we've got to do something. When the rut through the street going through here, you can see a rut on a lot of that street this deep. You probably don't even look at it. The top of that sewer main is gone. And if we don't replace it, I'm just telling you, you're gonna lose your streets and you're gonna have an open ditch with sewer water running through there. And
And then you're gonna have the health department.
you're gonna have ADQ all over you.
I mentioned ADQ.
Yeah, you're gonna have ADQ all over you. And then I guarantee you, once they get through with you, the fines that they put on you are gonna be cheaper than the payment on that loan. Gonna cost more than the payment on that loan.
Mayor, I respect that I can reply to that. And I'm sorry I got the email back late this afternoon, and I expect I'll give it to the council next meeting. I asked Stevens to run the numbers if we up it to $4.5 million, okay, revenue line. It will only Rivian only agreed to pay $200,000 a year to service 3.5. They'd only have to pay $72,000 more. I deal with Shep Russell and your city attorney and the Friday department. We're all in agreement. If we do this alone, I'm telling you right now, there are no grants, there are no revenue bonds, we're stuck for 30 years. And I think that we're making a real mistake if we go with that. I can get them $4.5 million, okay? That's a lot of money. Riviana will sign a contract that Shep Russell will fill out for $272,000 a year to fund this project. I'm not gonna do any more. I mean, I work for the council, I work for them. But I'm telling you, that's the best I can do.
Well, what did he tell you the payment was gonna be a year for?
$272,000, that's told the mayor. It's $72,000 more to add from 3.5 to 4.58 on a 30-year note. They're signing a note for 30 years for 1.5 million. It ties us up. We are dead in the water, no pun intended.
Okay, by the time you take the O&M expense out there and hire another employee and all that, you can deduct probably 160, 170,000 out of that. So that's gonna leave you 110, maybe $120,000 to pay on $272,000 loan. Where's the rest of that money gonna come from?
Well, Rob, they've already paid you to hire somebody before to go down and work their treatment plant. You never did. They paid for your engineering fund.
We don't pay anyone.
No, what I'm saying though is they've gone out of their way. They're paying Brad, they pay for all these studies. Y'all need to figure out one way why you can do something instead of 100 ways why you can't do something. That's what you face the problem with. You find all these excuses why you can't fix something instead of one excuse why you can.
It's always real easy to spend other people's money, Tommy, and
I've been around longer than you have, Rob. I know the game. It's not my first rodeo.
I've been doing this for 25 years,
Okay,
Tommy. I know
fine, I'll shut up.
Council, I'm gonna turn it over to y'all if y'all got any questions. Y'all want to ask the commission about this.
Either way, it's not fixing Charlene Street.
Right.
I mean, either way. I mean,
If we don't get that
But
money,
if
so
we-
it doesn't get fixed.
if we do, if what Tommy says is true and it ties our hands from getting something else, if something else comes up, you know, I mean, that's something else I have to think about. I didn't think about that. I don't know how it would affect a bond like that if a loan, this is just a regular conventional loan, right?
Right.
This is, how would it affect a government bond issue? I mean, would that,
They look at your debt service.
So that's the
We're
thing,
maxed
look at
out.
the bottom line.
We, at 1.5 million maxes us out from getting any revenue bonds, any grants. They're gonna look at your ability to pay the 20% debt service. Ed knows this, we've gone to police cars. We have shown our financials, last audit. We are dead in the water, trust me. If you do that loan, we'll not get anything for 20 years.
That will all work.
Because our revenues are declining. They don't have the revenue to pay for anything on the water.
If you're gonna do that and do both of these, fix Charlene Street and do that loan, you're gonna have to raise water rates to show that our debt to income ratio will meet the standards that Stevens is wanting for that loan. You're just gonna have to do it. I've been doing this a long time, and that's what you're gonna have to do. Banks go by that debt to income ratio, and they're gonna wanna know that they see that you've got the money coming in to pay that money back. So that's where you're gonna be standing. If you're gonna do that, you're gonna have to raise water rates to make up for that extra $180,000 a year on that loan to do that for Riviana.
But with Stevens, Riviana's paying this money, not the ratepayers. That takes that equation off the table. If they're willing to pay $272,000 a year, that loses a figure in their debt ratio.
Okay, we'll get them to pay the O&M costs too, and an extra employee, and then you're talking business. I mean, you don't put it there and it just runs itself. I mean, somebody's gonna have to oversee it. It's gonna have to be operation maintenance costs. It's gonna cost you with another employee to do all this, and land apply, to get permits from ADQ to do all that. You're looking, it's not as simple as you're trying to make it sound like. It's just not.
Why are you getting rid of Jerry Williams, the guy that ran the plant? I don't understand that.
I did not get rid of Jerry.
When he's retired, you're not replacing him.
I told you last week, if you would listen, he's gonna be off 6 months and he's coming back to work part-time. That's your MO. Every time you think you're getting in trouble with something, you try to put the blame on and bring up something that's insignificant. Jerry Williams has nothing to do with this.
He runs the water plant.
I run the water plant. I'm the manager.
Oh, you are?
Yes, sir.
I didn't know that. You get a raise?
No, I did not. I'm the licensed operator in charge of everything for this city. Wastewater plant, water plant, everything. Me. Jerry Williams' name is not on any of it.
You know, we can sit here and bicker back and forth on this right here. I'm gonna never want to realize, if the water department is not able to fix this problem right here, and Charlene Street caves in, are we gonna leave a caved-in street with raw sewage? The citizens are gonna look to the city to take care of this problem. The problem's gotta be taken care of.
We've already promised them to do it, Mayor.
That's what I'm saying. You don't, like you said, you don't know problems if this happens. It's in your hands. It's your decision to make.
You know, everybody sits back and they armchair quarterbacks to how this water department should be run. Until you've done it, you don't know what you're doing, I promise you. I promise you. I've been doing this since 1993. And I've seen a lot of things, and I still learn a lot, but I can assure you I know what I'm doing on this. And if I didn't, I would step aside, but I know what I'm doing on this.
And we have no idea when that street's just gonna completely cave in to do
It's
it.
on its way, Mayor. It's on its way.
You don't know exactly what Riviana will do either.
No, that's what Bob told me today. They know for sure, what they're paying now is around $200,000. They know that won't be a question, that they could pay the water department $200,000. But you start getting up $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year, Bob's hands are tied until the corporate people tell him, okay, this is what we'll do. Then they will come back and tell us what they'll do. Now, like I said, I had about a 40-minute meeting with Bob today about this. Well,
Taxpayers don't have to pay it back in a way, it goes. That happens.
well, you
This
got
loan, who you think gonna pay
Tommy
it back?
on, right?
I don't really, I was curious what they were paying, but you just answered that question, $200,000 a year.
Yep.
Is there
Is that
any,
right, Rob? They're paying $200,000 a year.
That's what they're spending by the time they do their pre-treatment
Yeah.
and paying the land supply, the truck drivers and all that, they're spending around $200,000 a year.
And Bob does not have the authority to make any agreement other than that, as far as I know.
But he didn't give you any kind of indication on,
Well, he don't know what his people will be willing to do until they get the figures and get back to him. But put a time frame on it, I can't tell you.
You know, can I talk just?
Yeah, Carl.
I went out and talked to Bob quite a while here about a month ago. He gave me a tour of the building, showed me the process, showed what they got going. They've got a very good thing going. It's been going. It's going to continue to go. I'm not worried a bit about us losing what we've got out there unless the group in Spain decides they want to sell the business. Somebody else comes in, buys the business, and then they make changes. So, you know, he was very confident with what he had going, the employees they've got going. And so I said, you know, Bob, if we could do something with the water plant to be able to handle this extra, you know, waste that comes out there, could you go, if they could do that, how many more jobs are you talking about if they put another line in there? And he said, Carl, you know, it'll be over time. It'll probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 jobs, 20, 25 jobs, something like that is what he said. So, you know, the first thing I heard, it was going to be 50 jobs, 40, 50 jobs. And then I asked Bob, and that's what he told me. And that's great, and that's good, you know, if we could have that many extra jobs. My thing is, being on this water commission, that you guys, you know, we're all appointed, and we're going to look out for the best interest of Brinkley, Arkansas, number one. The citizens of Brinkley, number one. The businesses that come and go, that's number two. And so we're not going to jeopardize making a decision that is going to lay a heavy burden on the citizens of Brinkley, Arkansas. And we all want business then. We all want, you know, ag business is great. That's what that is. We all want that. We all want that. But we also want to make sure that we do this thing the right way. We don't obligate the citizens of Brinkley down the road. I mean, there's no guarantee. Bob told me 200,000, just like Rob said. That's what they're paying right now. He said, Carl, he said, all I can do is go to our head guys, see if they would cover that. That's all I can do. He said, I don't have a clue, you know, what they'd come back with. Maybe they would. Maybe. I said, Bob, I said, we'd have to have 30 years on this because that's what this revenue bond, I said, if you guys pulled out in 5 or 6 years, I said, we're 25 years, our citizens, our rates will have to go sky high to cover this. He said, Carl, I realize that. And he said, I realize that's how it had to be. And I said, well, if you guys could work that, and it would be 30 years, and we've got the contract, and our lawyer says that this contract is a good contract, I said, that's probably something we can work with. And that's kind of where it's at, because I've had a conversation with him. The mayor has, Tommy has, several of us have talked about this. But as far as bringing a ton of more jobs out here, guys, it's not going to happen. It could bring 15, 20, 25 more jobs. And like I said, that's great. But, you know, what's it worth for that many jobs? $4.5, $5 million? And then a few years from now, all of a sudden we've got this thing, can handle all this, and they pull up, leave the country. We have no guarantees on that. So number one, we take care of the citizens of Brinkley, Arkansas. And that's what we're trying to do with improving these streets out here, fixing the problems that we've got right now, that we know we've got, upgrading our system some. That's number one. Number two is the industry, and we'll work with that, work with Tommy to bring industry in. But let's do it the right way and the smart way. That's what I've got to say.
You guys work with the street department?
Well, what are you referring to there is the streets that are collapsing because the sewer
Right.
lines are collapsing. is what it
But
is.
you guys never work with the street department at all?
Yeah, at times, I mean, we help them, they help us. You know. But out here in the south end right now is covering up on what's a collapsing sewer line that we've got to fix.
So it's not fixed yet? It's
Oh,
just,
no, we can't do nothing until we get this line, you know? And the highway department's on my tail about that too. And, you know, we kept putting asphalt in it, and it just keeps it there, so we had to put that big steel plate over it. And, I got a call from Josh at the highway department the other day, and he said, man, when y'all gonna do something about this? And I told him our scenario, what's going on.
Rob, somebody's got to step up to the plate and change what's going on in the water department. The quality of work of your troop is worse as it's ever been. We've got more holes in the street than we got streets. And we've got an old antique water system.
That's right. But you know what it takes to fix that?
Yeah,
Money.
you know, it takes good management.
We'll disagree on that one.
I think that's part of the problem. The pipes are, all the water lines are old and it creates a lot of problems.
That thing, a lot
The
of.
traffic creates a lot of problems.
When they was closing that interstate, putting on the bridge, and they was running that all through here, it devastated us through there. I'm telling you, it absolutely devastated us.
Well, it devastated the streets too. Look at our streets.
And you go to ask somebody at the highway department to help you, I mean, they look like you just got off a crack pipe or something, you know, they don't.
Well, that's a man that needs to be going to work for the highway department.
I've even talked to our senator about it, and he says there's, unless you can get the governor on your back, on your side to do it, then I don't even know that he can do it.
Council, y'all got any more questions? Robin,
Yeah, well, we're also, Brad and I had a meeting with ADQ the other day, and, there's some things they're concerned about that we're working on. As a matter of fact, I got another meeting with them Thursday, and I'm taking Sonya and Bruce with me. They made some changes on how to do DMRs and all that, and we're gonna get updated on all that. And they want us to start an I&I program. That's where we smoke test the sewer lines and find out where we got problems, holes, and doing all that. And I contacted Arkansas Rural Water. Susan Poe, she'll be here late April, early May. Then we're gonna start smoke testing and start trying to fix some of these holes and stuff in these sewer lines, and that'll cut down our infiltration coming to the wastewater plant when we get a big rain or something. It should help us out significantly on that, so.
That basically wants us to take the city and categorize the worst areas and get a plan set, so we're gonna start, this is the worst, we're gonna start here. It's gonna go over the years, so, Charlene will be just one of the first ones. I mean, at ADQ, if you don't do anything, you don't do a corrective action, we'll do another consent order, do more fines. So they start at the plant, get the treatment plant working correctly, and then they're gonna move to the lines, of upgrading the lines, repairing just because it's aging.
See, most of our sewer lines are concrete, and a lot of our manholes are those red clay brick manholes. They're built in bricks. Well, the bricks hold up fine. The mortar that holds the bricks together, that methane gas eats them up, and the bricks just fall in. And they've got a special way of coating them now, of fixing those things. They just go in and they coat it, and it works great. It's expensive, but it works really well. And it's better than digging up the whole street and replacing a whole manhole. But that stuff costs money, you know. I mean, every time I do one of those manholes like that, we've done 3 of them down on South Main over the last few years. $4,500, $5,000 a piece just to do that, just to do one manhole. You know, and this stuff is expensive. It costs a lot of money. And I think we managed the budget pretty well. I do. I think we've done pretty well with it. We've made a lot of improvements, and it's just but we need a lot more.
But you've got a declining market, Rob. Brinkley's less than 3,000 people.
That's right.
That's another reason we don't need another $4.5 million.
That's right.
We asked a year ago about, came to y'all and asked you for a rate increase, and you gave it to us. Now then, we've gone through the whole process because of our manager here doing what he's supposed to do to get to this point. And it's my understanding, just in the other day, whenever we would be already clicking, there was some kind of ordinance, did another ordinance for us, so that's why we're here now. So, it ain't gonna be hanged until y'all say it's hanged. Y'all gotta either say, go to work, and start fixing the streets, and give us the money that we go on, that you entrusted us to ask for.
But $1.5 million is not gonna fix it completely,
We
is
gotta
it?
start somewhere, Larry, and we don't start with $4.5 million, we may start with $1.5 million.
But I mean, I think what the people are gonna, they said, well, we give you this rate hike, and our water bill goes up, and we're giving you this money each month that we pay our water bill. And they said, why aren't you fixing the smaller things as you go along? And I mean, that's what people are gonna look at. I mean, that's, my little brain probably figures it that way. So why don't you get this $15,000? Is that enough to fix this hole down here? The next month, you get this other $15,000. And I understand you're talking about fixing the sewer.
Just like on Hemlock Street the other day.
It doesn't matter how big the
That
thing is,
sewer
that's what
line
people
collapsed
see.
on us. The mayor called me and said, down here by this manhole, the sewer line's collapsing. We went down there and looked at it and said, okay, wow, we gotta do something.
How did concrete collapse, Rob?
And that thing gas eats it up.
Yeah, I
It eats,
understand.
I mean, it just eats the top of it completely out. You can go down on Charlene Street and look through the camera now with that robotic camera they got, it's on tracks, rubber tracks, and you can look up and there's no top. When we replaced it behind the housing authority the other day, you could see it was a 10-inch concrete line. I could take it in my hands and hit it like that and completely knock 4 foot second out of it. It's gone. It's paper thin. And then a lot of the places where you see the street, the ruts in the street, it's completely gone. I mean, the street, it's actually swallowing the street into our sewer line. And,
To add a little bit more to that, so when we smoke test and we come up with the worst areas, we'll assign a cost to certain things. And if we can do 10 things that are bad on the list, or $20,000 a piece, get more bang for our buck rather than do all of Main Street or something like that and spend $1.2 million, then you just gotta select what we want as a process. I've lived in Little Rock while they've been redoing their system. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars and gone through, and they're working through the list.
I mean, it sounds like though,
You gotta start somewhere.
right,
Yes,
you
a chip
start
away.
fixing, and you know that's not gonna be enough, and it's always gonna have to be somebody borrowing some money, or somebody figuring out how to get a hold of some money, because I mean, you're not gonna be able to come, in 5 years, we won't be 2,500 people. And they, you gonna say, hey, we gotta raise the water rate again, they're gonna say, hell no.
Look, if you don't start, you'll never get ahead. I mean, it's gonna take a long time to catch up, but if you don't
I
start,
think-
you're going backwards.
I think those
Excuse me,
people,
we quit hard for water rate about a year ago to fix Charlene Street and never done nothing. You know, they.
that's not true, Mr. Gene. We've gone through the process. I explained that. You gotta go through engineering processes, you gotta survey it, and then you've got to do sort of a corrective action plan. It takes time to do that, Mr. Gene. And then we submit it to the Department of Health, and their engineers have to go over it, and then they sign off on it, and then you come back and you figure out how much it's gonna cost, and then you start the financing program of it. It doesn't happen overnight, Mr. Dean. It takes time to do that. If we'd have been going through USDA, it took 3 years to do that. We got it done in a little over a year.
I know what Gene's talking about, everybody that calls me, they wanna know what their extra $20 on their bill or whatever it is. Why hadn't they fixed it? I mean, y'all know that too, they don't see it that way, they
I
don't
think
know
it
what's
was like
happening.
$5, $6.
Right, well, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just using that as I'm not for sure. They say, well, my bill, what are they doing? It went up $5, if it went up $1, they say, what am I doing? What are they doing with the extra dollar I give them? That's how they see it.
Well, they don't understand the process in which it takes.
It takes time.
And that's what everybody calls and asks me about.
Right.
What are they doing with my extra, the 50 cents I'm paying
I
on my
mean, it
water
would be
bill?
nice if y'all gave us a rate increase in September, and we put it in effect in November, and in December, we start the construction. It doesn't work that way. I mean, the Department of Health, when Brad got his engineering done on it, he has to turn it over to the Department of Health, and their engineers have to go over it, and then they sit on it a while, and then, you know, and that, because we can't do nothing until they approve it. So, and it's a long, drawn out process. And,
They called and talked to me, and I said, I don't know. I'll have to ask
We
somebody.
promised the citizens when we gave them a rate increase that we would fix the thing. Either we fix the thing, or the next time we need a rate increase or anything, they're gonna say, no,
you don't have a file.
we're not gonna give anything.
Rob, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned earlier that an ordinance would need to be passed.
Yes,
Say,
ma'am.
not just a vote, if we decide to take this as an action item, not just a vote, but an ordinance.
Right.
So would that mean Mr. Sharp and Mr. Cobank would have to get together, or?
John Martin told me if we had any questions, he gave me his cell phone number. Is it okay if y'all, if I call him and put him on speaker?
No,
Do y'all have a problem with that?
we need to know how this to be worked, if it's made an action
You know,
item.
John's way up on this more than I am on that kind of stuff, so
Maybe John and Sharp could work This is such a rush question. Just if that's the better time.
you know John's phone number?
I do.
You don't answer yourself.
I think.
Somebody saw who was calling. This is
John. Sorry.
Well, I bet you got a master plan about what we're gonna do with the water department. Our water department is at a crisis.
Michelle, we try to address the most critical problems one at a time with what we have to do.
Yeah, I know.
We do that. I mean,
Yeah, you've got to find and market, and it's hard to cover the territory you have to cover, I understand that. But you got to have a plan, Robert.
we do. I mean, we do.
And you got to, you ought to look at your crew and see if you want them handling your drinking water.
The two people that handle the drinking water are me and Jerry Wills. That's it. And we both are licensed through the health department to do it. We're the only two that work here that have that.
Yeah.
That's it. No one else treats the water. It's not allowed by law for anyone else to do it.
Well, look at that ragged ass crew that's out there repairing.
You take that up to him.
He did not answer the phone.
He didn't answer?
No.
I thought you said the order would be needed, would be a vote by the council.
I think
If they approved it, to give the okay for the city to sign.
I think our best process to do on this, y'all, is to say, okay, if y'all say, like John,
John, I'm sorry, Robert, but this is Stacy, we're in our meeting, and Robert said that you had mentioned that you would be willing to answer any questions if he had any.
Rob, we're not blaming you, you got a tiger by the tail when you grab the water department.
hey, Mr. John, what was your question first?
You mentioned that an ordinance would have to be written,
Right.
and we were under the assumption that it would have to be just passed by vote. We need to know what type, does it have to be an ordinance?
Did you hear that, Mr. John?
It does. It will have, Shep Russell, the attorney with Brody Elberton Clark that's handled the bond issues, I've contacted him about preparing the ordinance. So, yes, it would have to be adopted, and I think there's a requirement for a public hearing before adoption of the ordinance.
Okay. We're going to go through the whole bid process.
Yeah. The main thing I'd say at this point is just that they agree that we can get this on their agenda in the way that it has to go through, and that they just handle it as timely as they could.
Okay. Because we only have 90 days from the time of the bid stuff to go through to grant the bids and stuff, and we're not, if all this has to happen, we're already well over 30 days into it.
Okay, well, hopefully it'd be something that we could at least have the ordinances presented and adopted within 30 days.
Okay, and I think if you get a hold of Coleman, I think as soon as we got that, they could probably get the funds to it, don't you think?
Well, yeah, actually what I've done is that the attorney that I had been in contact with in Cobain, Shep, had a list of things, and I said, let me just get you two together so that Shep can make sure they know what they're prepared, and I haven't heard any more from them, so I can check with Shep in the morning and find out where he is on things.
Okay, so what we need for them tonight is just kind of consensus that they're gonna agree to help us get this order.
Yeah, that we know that we're going to have an ordinance that will have to be adopted following a public hearing, and that we just need their agreement that they'll agree to get it on their agenda and move it along in a timely way.
And Chuck Russell will prepare that order.
Yeah, I've been in contact with him, 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So I've given him all the information, and hopefully it'll be something that he can have prepared to be ready to go shortly.
All right, thank you, Ms. John. Y'all have any questions for Ms. John?
Mr. John, just one question. Would you rather consensus or action taken? Would you rather there be action taken or just strictly a consensus?
At this point, I think it's just a commitment that when we present the things that have to be done, that they would agree to move it along on their agenda and their schedule.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome.
Mayor, I have one comment about this. Jeff Russell's involved. I deal with him on the Stevens body. He doesn't have anything to do with the lawsuit. It's taxpayer for it. John Russell. What he's talking about Jeff Russell is the $4.5 million bond issue. It has nothing to do with the co-op bank. He's only attorney for Stevens Inc. or bond issue. This is not a bond issue, it's a loan. I mean, that's the bottom line of it.
Council, I'm gonna turn it over to y'all. If you wanna make an action item, if we go ahead and approve them going forward with the ordinance, we'll need it made as an action item. I'm gonna open it up for a motion. Got a motion from Alderman Tucker, second from Alderman Burrow, that we make as an action item tonight, the process of going ahead with them getting the ordinance for the next council meeting. The clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Decrease, Burrow.
Yes.
Okay, now the chair will entertain a motion that we approve an ordinance for the next meeting to go ahead with this process for this loan.
So moved.
Second.
A motion from Alderman Burrow, second from Alderman Tucker to approve this ordinance for the next meeting to proceed with this. Any questions? No, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Tucker,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Decrease,
Yes.
Burrow,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
motion passed.
Yes. Okay, now we're gonna need a public hearing, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. We'll get something in the paper tomorrow about the public hearing.
We can do it next week.
We can do it next Tuesday night for a council meeting, I'd say 6:30 public hearing. You got it, Hayden? Okay.
Mayor, one of your questions may be whether or not Shep can have that ordinance ready for next week, so we can check that tomorrow before, and hopefully he can.
Can you check with him tomorrow?
I'll check with him. I'll check with him.
You will? Okay. All right. Okay. Well, we can have it then. Tell you what, let me know something if you will before we go ahead and schedule that public hearing. Yeah, okay. Okay, we'll go to the next item. Commissioner, I appreciate that.
Are you still, Councilman?
Mayor, could I say one thing?
Yes, sir.
I want to thank all of the board members for doing what you're doing. This is one thing I wanted to bring up, that is, we are in charge to work together. The scripture says, what is man that thou art so mindful of, that he have leveled him just a little lower than the angel, and he have crowned man with glory and honor. We as men, we just got one woman in here. All of us are men. If we work together, we can get something done in this time. Together we stand, and divided we will fall.
Amen.
I just hope we work together. That's all I'm asking.
I hope you'll stop the street corner.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Turn it over to Mr. Wally Sprigg and his guest with Moser Construction.
Thank you, Mayor. We're going to give you an update on where we are in the construction process and bidding process for the new city jail.
Did you want to introduce these two gentlemen?
Yes, we have Jay Davis with Moser Construction and Max Robert from Moser Construction. So a little bit of brief history here. We issued the construction documents for bid on January 15th, and we received bids on February the 6th. There were 9 qualified bids that were taken. I see that you have the bid tab in front of you. Those bids ranged from $2.597 million to just over $3 million. It's really a good tight spread for a project of this size. That does include the renovations to the municipal building that were part of the construction documents that we issued out. Since the apparent low bidder was Moser Construction from Bryant, and they're going to speak for themselves here in a few minutes. But since we've taken bids last week, we've researched their bonding capacity, their insurance, and their references. They've actually worked for Wittenberg, Dolan, Davis, and our firm on a couple of projects at Camp Robinson, and did a very, very good job out there. So we're a personal reference for them too. We also are familiar with the subcontractors that they have listed in their bid, and we're very comfortable with them that they have the capabilities to do the project for the city. So, Jay, if you want to say a few words about your company, and then we'll go from there.
Well, we've been in, between Robert and I together, we've got